Have you wondered what stage of development your team needs to be in to benefit from team coaching? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to the Team Coaching Lounge, where leaders and coaches connect and have casual conversations about team coaching and other team-related topics.
Hello, I'm Susan,
And I am Claudia.
and we are both accredited team coaches, and we often work together as co-coaches with corporate teams. So sit back, relax, and join us for today's conversation.
Susan, somebody asked you recently about the stages of team development. What happened?
Yeah, I was chatting about team coaching with a captain of a search and rescue team, and he thought that team coaches are only brought in when a team is having issues. So Claudia and I touched on this a bit in one of our other episodes, but we thought it'd be good to actually discuss the different stages of team development and how team coaches can assess at each development stage.
Right, right. Because the different stages have been named or formalized by Tuckman. So the model that we are going to talk about today is the Tuckman model of team maturity, essentially. And the different stages are labeled forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. I'm sure he was not happy that this last one didn't end in orning as well.
From
In any case.
adjourning.
Right. So throughout these stages, the team develops maturity, relationships establish, and also the leadership style changes to a more collaborative and shared leadership as this progresses. So just a very quick word about the stages for those that might not be as familiar with it. Forming happens when a new team gets formed, big surprise, and when people kind of get to know each other. During the storming phase, the team experiences very often conflicts and challenges. It's kind of the stage when the pecking order gets established, when the how
Yeah.
we work together, forth and back happens, right? And thankfully, that stage at some point hopefully ends, and we go into the norming stage when the team starts to work efficiently together and has more of a sense of unity because they have ironed out these ways of working together. Next then is the performing stage. They have adapted and, really have gotten to a place where they work very efficiently together and really develop high performance output. At some point, very often the teams also need to adjourn because the project ends or whatever. And so there is some work involved in that too. So you see that the teams at these different stages have different challenges and also just a different level of maturity, again, to say it, because it doesn't
Mhm.
mean we're not talking about the maturity of each individual team member, but we're talking about the maturity of the team, of the whole, of the dynamic. Okay, this layer that hovers kind of over the top of all these different people, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So what do you think?
So it's
Shall we go through kind of what happens in each stage?
yeah, I mean, let's talk about the just really quickly the benefits to each stage and how a team coach can help. So let's
Right.
start with forming. You want to start with that one? What are the
Well,
benefits when a team is just forming?
well, I think that the teams would at that moment need to develop even just their sense of what the goals and objectives are of the actual team. What is the team there to do? And then on top of it, what are the roles that everybody has to play, correct? And what
Yeah.
contribution can people bring? What else can you think
Yes.
about?
Really, like you just touched on, really understanding each person's skills. That's how they get to know each other and really start kind of creating the actual team.
Right,
That's a
right.
big piece. Yeah.
And they already at that stage touch into the basics of communication and collaboration in this of how it's going to look in this particular instance of a team. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about storming?
Yeah. Storming's a fun part, right? Because you're still feeling each other out, but now you're getting a little more, I guess, bolder in talking and sharing your ideas and opinions. And that's where, like you said earlier, some conflict can come in, right? Because we're trying to establish some relationships, maybe some ground rules with each other and how to interact with each other. And so, as a team coach, we can come in and help work through those conflicts if there are any that come up, and really formalize the shared purpose that you hopefully have started doing in the forming stage. And then really work on building psychological safety
Right.
again, right? Because you're at a stage now where you're probably moving on from being polite all the time to actually really being real. So you want to make sure that your psychological safety is really solid at this point, and that's what coaches and we can do.
Right, and by now hopefully people realize that this psychological safety is exactly what is required as a foundation for the subsequent stages.
Yep.
And in norming, for instance, it is what is needed in order to improve on this communication, on the collaboration, and on the overall team development plan and the overall team mission and
Yep.
strategies and all those kind of things. If people are not able to talk and express themselves and contribute freely, then you're losing so much of your potential, of the team's
Yeah.
potential. So coaching definitely can help with all of that. And there's ways that people can communicate. They have to figure it out for themselves, and team coaches help.
Yes, because we're standing outside, being objective, right? We have no emotional attachment to it, and so we can provide that insight that
Right,
when you're in the team, you're not necessarily able to see.
right, right. It's the ye olde blind spot. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So where are we at now? Performing?
Performing, yes.
Yes. So the performing team's doing really well, right? I think we touched on this in another episode too, where I talked to a manager and we're doing fine. We don't need a coach or team coach. Um, that's not necessarily true. We can actually help optimize the performance of the team along with increasing the resiliency of the team, right? In this big VUCA world, things are changing constantly, and we can help along with the team development plan prepare the team to be able to react more quickly. And especially now where there's lots of layoffs and people are, tightening their budgets, you have to work with what you have. And this is an optimal stage to bring in the team coach. I keep saying co-coach, team coach.
That's
Um,
okay. Coaches we are, right?
yes. It's optimal stage to bring in team coaches to help optimize the team.
Right. And it's kind of also an element of accountability, I think, because no matter
Yes.
how performant your team is, there is still stuff that is not running as smoothly as it could. I've never come across a case where there was like zero untapped potential. And
No.
so, sometimes bringing in these team coaches to help hold the space where the team can self-reflect and really take a close look at what's happening rather than continuing in this rat race of this performance loop that they're in, but
Mhm.
actually take a look and challenge a little bit what is happening and verifying that there's not some lag that has come in and some negativity or suboptimal procedures that have crept in. And
Mhm.
so, team coaches really help with that. It's very hard for teams that are in the midst of this production and performance to pause themselves and take time for this.
Yes.
It needs to be kind of more structured and the coaches love the word to hold the space, but we come and
Space.
we
Yeah.
hold the space that makes this possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the big thing you touched on was helping the team learn how to reflect on what they're doing. And because they're performing well, they're not under the pressure to get things. I mean, need to get things done, but they're not under this huge pressure of, oh, we're not doing well and such like that. So it's an optimal stage for a team coach to come in, teach them how to self-reflect, teach them how to bake that into their processes, and then actually start creating a coaching environment within the team.
Right. And therefore also leverage their experience in a more or less formalized way for the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
company.
Yep.
Right. So you have this team that became high performant and, really figure out what made this possible and, what worked in this company culture
Yep.
enable this. So they are doing
And
well.
that
So
can filter
innovation-
out to the rest.
exactly, exactly. And yeah, use it as a role model then for the rest of the company, definitely.
Yeah,
And the
definitely.
self-reflection that you talked about also is a very big component, at least in my book, in the adjourning
Mm-hmm.
stage, where
Yes.
the engagement kind of wraps up and it's time to look back and really, I don't like the word post-mortem because some people think it's macabre, but like
Yes.
after the thing to look back and take this look at what transpired and what made it successful or what made it maybe not so successful, so that the this experience, this knowledge is first of all celebrated. I love the word that you used earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
but that learning happens. Learning
Yep.
happens. Evaluation happens. KPIs are measured. Yes, that as well, and that all of this is shared as a with a good pat on the back very often.
Yes. Acknowledgement is key to growth, right? Every step you make forward, yes, pat yourself on the back. Say we did it, and this is what we did well.
And we
Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positives.
right, right. And unfortunately, we have seen that very often this is not done enough
No.
in companies. There's this very crucial moment of learning, not just for the team, but for the company. And, this bringing to closure, truly the thing. And so the this might even be the case when this team shares openly with other teams in the company and so on. So team coaches can really help to hold again this moment and not let it
Mm-hmm.
flit away because yeah, there's already kind of the next project lining up and so on, and stuff gets just diminished and lost
Mm-hmm.
in the hustle and bustle of this transition into a new project. And so
Yes.
it is well worth it to just take a moment to finish it off well.
Yes. Very much so. It needs to be a regular practice and not just in the annual performance plan. Right?
Right, right. And we see it in all the books, and we see it in all the papers and all the management models and all these kind of things. And yet it is something that is oh so often overlooked.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So
So,
teams change during the different stages, and the coaching that they receive is going to change in the different stages. But team coaches, or at least us, we can maybe not generalize, can adapt to this and help the team where the team is at.
and the other thing is in these stages, right? It's not always this one forward trajectory. You can go back. backwards and forwards. And so that's definitely where the team coach can benefit or help benefit the team is, oh, wait, we're slipping back from performing, right? Or new people have come in. Now we're back to forming, or a reorg has happened. So it's very fluid, and the team coaches can help with that.
Yeah, it does, because these models, these frameworks, right, they're cast in stone. They're supposed to simplify and give us
Yes,
some lenses through which we view this process. But like you said, it's messy. Yeah,
it is
Professor
messy.
Professor Clutterbuck, one of the
Yeah,
greats in team coaching, that's his favorite thing to say. It is messy.
messy.
So it is a very apt word to describe this. So,
Yes.
from my standpoint, this would conclude today's conversation. Are you good?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yes, and if you do, please show us your love, subscribe, and drop us a line or a comment, or otherwise engage with our content. If you have any story to share or any question to ask, please get in touch with us, either in the comments on YouTube or on our page on LinkedIn, and we will love to have a chat with you, or maybe have you on the show. So,
Yes.
I hope that you got some value out of this, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.